Tom Aspinall jokes about shaking up his usual quick finishes at UFC 321, saying he plans to win over Ciryl Gane by a boring split decision. He laughs that his elite heavyweight team has already shown his danger, so this time they'll take a different approach. Aspinall teases that he'll stick to jabs for 5 rounds, leaving the crowd frustrated, and coast to a decision victory, joking that he tires after 2 minutes and will take it easy for the remainder of the fight.
I think everybody's seen me go in there and get quick finishes. So me and my, I've got one of the best heavyweight teams in the world. We actually discussed and we've shown what we can do, shown how dangerous I am. And we're going to switch it up this time and we're going to go out there and win a boring split decision. Yeah, as I just said, we're going for a 5-round split decision, close fight win. Jab, just jabs, like just jabbing your way to win. Crowd will be booing after a couple of minutes and just maintain.
A little bit unusual, Ciryl predict win by decision.
Samesies! Yes.
What's your prediction? Yours?
Okay.
Same?
Yeah, split decision win, but in my favour.
And no worries to go in the second, third round? You have you trained a lot?
Like, no, I get 2 minutes in I get really tired, so it's going to be just me, just not doing much for the next 4.5.
Ciryl Gane intends to test Tom Aspinall over the later rounds for the first time in his career. Knowing that Aspinall usually finishes opponents quickly, often in the first round, Gane plans to manage distance and control the pace. He is confident in his conditioning and strategy, aiming to challenge Aspinall in a longer, more grueling fight.
Considering that Tom has 100% finish rate, he finished all of his fights mostly in the first round, never fought out of the second round. What is the game plan going against a fighter like this, when you know it's not going to go for decision, most likely?
Everybody know my strength, everybody know his strength also. I can do very well to manage my distance and go to the second round. But even in a different way, if I want, I can go also really fast at the very first round and maybe to go on the deep water with Tom Aspinall this year.
So you're ready to take him to deep water for the first time in his career?
Yeah, probably.
Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure.
Tom Aspinall responds confidently to Ciryl Gane's deep waters comment, joking that anyone who has used that phrase against him has been knocked out quickly. He acknowledges Gane as a talented and experienced fighter who has remained at the top of the division and earned multiple title shots. Aspinall emphasizes that he is taking the fight very seriously and expects a challenging matchup.
Did he actually use the word deep waters?
He did.
Everybody who said the word deep waters gets knocked out in the first minute. Go back and check the media that you've done. So, I'm pretty happy with that. That's good. I think there's this notion with the media and maybe the fans that Cyryl's not very good, which is just complete bullshit. I think that he's really, really good. He's super talented. He's been at the top of the division for a number of years, which is not easy to do. He's been an interim champion himself. He's obviously had 2 title shots for the undisputed title as well. So I think the guy's really good. I've took him extremely, extremely seriously. The fact that people expect it to be an easy fight, I don't read into that at all. I think I'm prepared for a really, really hard fight.
Tom Aspinall gives a composed but confident warning before UFC 321, asserting that his power can decide any fight. He explains that a clean shot from him is nearly impossible to withstand and believes it will be difficult for Ciryl Gane to avoid being hit at least once over the course of 25 minutes. Tom Aspinall said, "If you're a human being and I hit you with full power in the face, you're going over. And that goes for Ciryl Gane. It's going to be hard work avoiding that one shot for 25 minutes. On the other hand, Ciryl Gane notes that all elite heavyweights, including Tom Aspinall, have strengths and weaknesses. He describes Aspinall as a next-generation fighter, big, technical, and fast, whose style is distinct, setting him apart from legends like John Jones and Francis.
You're going to be the only fighter that has fought Tom, John Jones, and Francis, who people think are 2 of the best heavyweights ever. When you watch Tom fight, do you see anything that he has that stands out compared to Francis and John?
Everybody have his strength, everybody have the weakness. The particularity of Tom Aspinall is he's well-rounded. He's a huge fighter, he's a new breed like me. technical and fast, so he's different.
Ciryl Gane enters his fight with Tom Aspinall feeling calmer than he did before facing Jon Jones or Francis Ngannou. He recalls that the Ngannou fight carried intense media pressure, while the Jones matchup was slightly less stressful. With more experience now, Gane approaches the Aspinall fight with focus and composure, free from distractions.
You've been in big fights, like they just mentioned, with Jon Jones and Francis Ngannou. Now, looking at this fight with Tom, how would you compare the pressure leading up to those fights to this one?
My feeling, I remember, because I got an experience now, less pressure. I remember my first big fight, I'm going to say big fight against Francis Ngannou. I remember because also the storytelling and the fight week was huge also, like many media to do, many stuff to do. More pressure for Ngannou, a little bit less for Jones, and less for Tom Aspinall.
Tom Aspinall acknowledges that pressure comes with every fight, but feels it brings out his best performance. He respects Ciryl Gane's skills while suggesting that Gane can be affected by the stakes, whereas Aspinall thrives when the moment is most critical.
I asked you this question in Paris. For people that haven't seen the answer to it, are you feeling pressure on this one?
Mate, of course. Like, if you're getting in a fist fight in front of millions of people with somebody else, you should be feeling pressure. You should be feeling pressure. The difference is, I think that I do really, really well against pressure. I think that Ciryl is an extremely talented fighter. I think that sometimes the pressure gets a little bit too much for him. It gets too much for everybody at some stage. But I think that I'm one of the people who shine under pressure. Like I seen.
Tom Aspinall believes top fighters balance intensity with calmness, giving their all while staying composed in the cage, a mindset he follows himself. He notes that the fight with Ciryl Gane brings pressure for both, especially since it's Gane's third title shot and possibly his last chance at the belt. Aspinall feels that the high stakes make the matchup even more thrilling.
Somebody told me recently that the elite fighters, it means everything to them, but they do it like it means nothing. And I think that that's the approach that I have really well, is like, this fight means absolutely everything, but I've got to go in there like I don't care about it and put on a great performance. And this is Cyryl's third title shot. And although there's a lot of pressure on me, I think there's also a lot of pressure on him, because if he doesn't win this one, he's probably not going to get a fourth. Do you know what I mean? So it's, there's pressure on both of us, mate. There's a lot of pressure on me, there's a lot of pressure on him, and I think it's an exciting fight all around.
Michael Venom Page compares Tom Aspinall's dominance at heavyweight to the level once displayed by Jon Jones. He explains that Aspinall's skill set is rare for the division and believes Ciryl Gane, despite his athleticism and technique, doesn't have the same explosiveness, power, or grappling ability. Page expects the fight to remain on the feet, but predicts Aspinall will eventually secure a knockout.
Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane. I'm sorry, for me, and I'm a fan of Ciryl Gane as well. I just feel like Tom Aspinall is the next generation of the same thing we saw the likes of Jon Jones doing in terms of the dominant fashion that he took over his division. I feel like the same thing is going to happen with Tom Aspinall. That style at heavyweight is unseen. Ciryl Gane has a little bit of a bounce to him as well. I just don't think he's got the same snap and power that Tom Aspinall has, as well as the ground game as well. Although you probably won't see it in this fight, I feel like he could get a knockout in this fight.
Brendan Schaub believes all the pressure is on Tom Aspinall heading into his fight with Ciryl Gane. He says Aspinall not only needs to win, but must do it faster and more impressively than Jon Jones did, since Gane is the only opponent they share. Schaub adds that to silence critics and prove he's the true heavyweight king, Aspinall has to finish Gane in under 2 minutes.
The marker here is win. Of course, dude, you're heavily favored. No, of course you got to win. You have to do it more impressively than Jon Jones did, because this is the only opponent you guys have in common that now the public can go, okay, well, they did fight this guy. Jon beat him in, I think, 2 minutes. Choked him out in 2 minutes. Tom not only has to, imagine this pressure, Tom not only has to beat Ciryl Gane, who's an absolute fucking French nightmare, but he has to do it more convincingly than Jon Jones. He has to do it faster and more impressive. So whether it's a knockout right away or he takes him to the mat right away, you have to beat him in under 2 minutes and go. Unfortunately, that's what Tom's dealing with. That's what Tom's dealing with. It sucks.
On the other hand, Alex Pereira believes Ciryl Gane's smooth movement and unpredictable style could cause early trouble for Tom Aspinall. He thinks Gane's elusiveness might disrupt Aspinall's rhythm and force him to adjust to a slower, more strategic pace.
What do you think about Aspinall and Ciryl Gane? Like who do you think you will win? Is the winner something that interests him?
Cara, ali é uma luta assim difícil, né? Mas pô, Tom Aspinall, campeão, vem mais confiante. Mas assim, eu vejo que ele lutou com atletas também assim, muito agressivo, entendeu? E ele tá levando a melhor ali, mas acho que o Ciryl Gane ele é um cara assim mais que movimenta mais. É um cara que não gosta de se expor, entendeu? Um pouco ali de medo e tal. Então, quando você tem um certo medo, um receio, você acaba não tomando muitos golpes. Então, pô, a gente vai ver. Vamos ver, porque de repente ele pode frustrar um pouco, né? O Tom Aspinall ali, de passa ali primeiro, segundo, terceiro round, vai levando pro final. A gente não sabe como que ele vai se comportar também.
It's a tough fight, you know. Tom is a complete fighter. But I do feel like he's fought a lot of aggressive guys, and I think Gane is a guy who's going to do a lot of movement. He's going to be a little more cautious and you know, just moving around a lot, and might frustrate Tom. You know, so first, second, third round, maybe Tom can't find Ciryl Gane, so I think it's going to be a different fight. We'll see.
Ian Gary predicts the Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane fight could end in the opening round. He calls Aspinall one of the most talented heavyweights in UFC history and believes that regardless of how fast the victory comes, the key is Aspinall keeping the title and proving he is the best in the division.
I don't see that fight getting out of the first round. Right. I think Tom is phenomenal. I think he's absolutely the best heavyweight we've ever seen in the UFC. I said to him, it sucks to win the belt that way, to be the champion this way, that no one's going to remember that in 3 fights' time. They're just going to remember what you've done and that you are the champion of the world and you're the best in the division, and that's it.
Michael Bisping notes that Tom Aspinall has already shown his skill by defeating top heavyweights such as Curtis Blades, Sergey Pavlovich, and Alexander Volkov. He sees Ciryl Gane as a unique challenge with a rare combination of athleticism, speed, and fight intelligence. Bisping likens their matchup to Georges St-Pierre's mix of precision and control, but highlights that Gane's ground game could again be a deciding factor against a complete fighter like Aspinall.
Now, when you look at the UFC heavyweight rankings, as I say, Tom has beat most of them, and he's beat them in style, and he's knocked them all out. Curtis Blades, Sergey Pavlovich, Alexander Volkov, whoever they are, he's beaten them all up. But Ciryl Gane is a little bit different. Now, of course, John Jones beat Ciryl Gane in quick fashion, took him down in the first round, submitted him with a front choke. But Ciryl Gane is the same as Tom Aspinall in terms of athletic ability. When I say that Tom Aspinall is a heavyweight Georges St-Pierre, that kind of goes to Ciryl Gane as well. The man's gigantic, he's very quick, he's agile, he's light on his feet, he could run any sport on the planet, and he's almost like Georges St-Pierre and Tom Aspinall in the fact that he's got all those athletic attributes and qualities, but he doesn't have the grappling. That's what cost him against John Jones, and that's probably what's going to cost him against Tom Aspinall.
Bisping highlights Tom Aspinall's extensive grappling experience, developed over years of training with his father, as a potential key factor in the fight. He acknowledges that Ciryl Gane's striking is highly dangerous and that heavyweight bouts can be unpredictable, yet he still favors Aspinall to come out on top. Bisping also notes that John Jones is likely watching closely, ready to weigh in if Aspinall doesn't match the dominance Jones once showed against Gane.
But Tom Aspinall can grapple. We've seen him take people down. He's done jiu-jitsu since he was about 15 years old. His dad is going to be on his case, and that's an absolute fact, saying, hey, you're not messing with this guy. Take him down, show him what you can do, show the world your grappling capability. Remember, Ciryl Gane turned Francis Ngannou into a wrestler, okay? So he's a very, very credible threat on the feet. But of course, I do fancy Tom Aspinall to get the job done. The fact that he isn't fighting John Jones is insane, but we've talked about that till the cows come home, so I'm not going to bore you on that subject anymore. But just you wait, John Jones is probably going to pop up on Twitter. If he doesn't beat Ciryl Gane as fast as what John did, guaranteed we're going to get some tweets.
Matt Brown believes the pressure is heavier on Tom Aspinall than on Ciryl Gane, especially with the uncertainty surrounding the heavyweight division. He explains that a loss for Aspinall could delay the division's progress, while a win would solidify him as the defining heavyweight of this era. Brown adds that every detail of Aspinall's performance will shape how fans and analysts judge both his legacy and the division's overall strength.
It's almost an unfair comparison, right? When we talk about pressure versus pressure, everybody's under tremendous pressure. But I guess when you kind of look at it, from not just pressure, but potential legacy and career and what's on the line, I think it's hard to not go with Tom Aspinall because the heavyweight division is on the line. If Gane goes in and beats him, no disrespect to Gane, love the guy, the heavyweight division loses a lot of respect. Even if Tom goes out there and it's a close fight, or he gets dropped and then has to come back or something, like, the heavyweight division has so little respect right now, probably deservedly so, I think. You know, even with Gane getting his third title shot in a couple years, like, Tom has to show that he is the heavyweight division. You know, he has to prove that to the world. Like, I am, you know, the heavyweight division's not just shit, but like, I'm so good that the heavyweight division is shit, right? This is kind of his thing that he has to go out there and prove to the world.
Matt Brown thinks the outcome of this fight could shape the next major storyline in the heavyweight division, possibly leading to a future clash between Tom Aspinall and Jon Jones. He expects Jones to watch closely, analyzing Aspinall's performance for any weaknesses. Brown sees this matchup as a defining moment for Aspinall, especially as the division works to restore its former prestige.
If he goes out there and loses to Gane, you know, the division already is not respected. That brings Tom down significantly, I think, right? And of course, you know, the potential Jon Jones fight, which is whatever, who knows, right? Like, how he beats Gane, assuming he does, may play a factor too. Like, if it turns out to be a close fight, again, John's going to be on his phone with Twitter open watching this fight, like, just waiting for Tom to fuck up and get dropped, get leg kicked and limping a little bit, or, you know what I mean? John can't wait for that moment.
MMA Guru is excited for the fight and predicts that Tom Aspinall could finish Ciryl Gane early, potentially in the first round. He notes that since Tai Tuivasa managed to land solid shots on Gane despite being outmatched, a quicker and more precise striker like Aspinall has an even better chance of ending the fight fast.
Maybe the UFC is really back. But Aspinall versus Gane, scary matchup. I think Aspinall's going to win by KO in the first round. If Tai Tuivasa can ever drop you on your ass in an MMA fight after you've beaten him up for the whole first round, if he can find a way to find your chin in that second round and drop you at any point in your career, I think Aspinall will find it in the first round, and I do think we'll see a first round Tom Aspinall KO.
MMA Guru warns that a victory for Ciryl Gane could surprise fans and even sway longtime Jon Jones supporters. Despite this, he favors Tom Aspinall, noting that while Gane's striking is elite, his weaknesses on the ground make him vulnerable to a well-rounded fighter like Aspinall.
You know, if Ciryl Gane wins, my life will crumble before my very eyes. You understand this, right? We can't have Ciryl Gane win. There's gonna be a conglomerate of MMA fans that are suspiciously pro Gane here for no reason whatsoever. Okay? Now, these may be considered former Jon Jones fans that now have nowhere to go because Jones retired, that will now pretend to be Ciryl Gane fans and pretend to want Ciryl Gane to win for the good of the sport. I just think he's way better. Tom Aspinall's the correct prediction. It is a very risky matchup. Ciryl Gane is very, very technical. Ciryl Gane is harder to hit than any former opponent of Tom Aspinall. I just think his grappling is a weakness, and he'll be thinking about that in a fight with Tom. And while you're thinking about that, you've also got to think about being knocked out with any punch you get hit with. So it's just a lot for Gane to worry about.
That's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about the matchup? Share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.